Consider This with Carol Schrader is made possible with support from Bass & Associates, First Data Resources, and by Nebraskans for Public Television. Consider This with Carol Schrader, a news and information program recorded on the campus of the University of Nebraska at Omaha. From the Dell and Lou Ann Weber Fine Arts Building, here is your host, Carol Schrader.
Hi, and welcome once again to UNO. Once a year, we come over here to the Fine Arts Building, sit on the set of a current production of the University Theater, and usually have some esoteric conversation about the arts. Well, that's blown for today. My guests are John Dennis Johnson and Dick Christie. They haven't changed at all since we were back here at UNO. They're still like two bad boys sitting in the back of the classroom, but they are a lot more.
No, sir.
They are a lot more. Fine actors. Dick's gone into screenwriting. He's done some directing. It doesn't seem like you've skipped a beat since you left here, other than you are putting on this fine production, which you might want to start out telling us about so you can fill the place up.
Okay. Charlie's Wake.
They were great before the camera went on. They were like on.
Well, wait a minute. I thought it was my turn to talk. You said I was going to tell them about Charlie's Wake.
Do.
Can they see that? Well, they don't have to see that. That's our poster. Charlie's Wake is a play that I wrote and am directing, and it's at the and it opens
tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, the 3rd.
After you see this.
Tomorrow night, the 3rd, and runs through the 11th of March.
Now,
8 performances.
Get this. I think this is Dick's writing on the news release.
No, it's not.
It is not a hilarious thriller comedy?
Yeah, okay, that part's okay. I don't know if it's, no, it's funny. It's we're combining the genres in Charlie's Wake. We're combining comedy and a little horror, and hopefully well. We'll see how it works out. But it's a fine line between comedy and horror, and we're going to see if it works, and I think it does.
And both of you are back here. You're starring in this.
I'm Charlie.
But you're dead.
Currently, yeah.
In the play.
Well, I wasn't Dick's first choice. First he offered.
You weren't my second choice.
Or third. I was the only one that could get on an airplane and get here in time for rehearsals. So that's how I stumbled
No
on
big
the role.
gig going right now,
No
huh?
big gig going, no. I just finished last night a miniseries on CBS, Perfect Murder, Perfect Town. And this year I did ER and Family Law.
And that's just icing on a long list of credits.
As long as someone needs to be killed, I'll probably work.
You do have that sort of notorious look about you.
Normally I have some hair. I'm doing a little different now. I've refused to allow the top to grow, so I'm only growing the sides.
Is that
these
because
days.
you don't have any up there, or just
No,
not
it's
showing it off
choice.
these days?
I've chosen to let it grow in on my back instead.
Well, you see, John, a lot of people don't know this, but John is not only the president, but a member of the Hair Club for Men.
Right.
And
I was actually kicked out of the Hair Club for Men because I kept wearing my wig in different places, like on my thigh.
Well, let's flash back a little bit. You were both here at UNO at the same time. I remember seeing you in the same student productions, and now you're back here working on a production.
Deja vu all over again.
yeah. Well, John, I was there when John was asked to leave the university, and I went on to graduate with honors. And
I actually stumbled
I don't remember
into
the honors part.
No, I don't either.
Stumbled into
It was a dream.
Bob Wilkes' class last week and asked if I could continue, and he said, no, the F you got was permanent.
Well, let's take people back. People don't think of UNO. I mean, if you said UNO, we've got this Peter Kiewit Information Technology Center, and we've got all other kinds of things. But unfortunately, the theater department isn't like one of the first things that comes to mind. And you are living examples, and there are many others that people can survive this program, Bob Welk, and go on to do great things.
Well,
Is there a question in there?
out of our class, Dick and I are
You
making
never
a
need a
living.
question.
David
You guys
Bowie's
just
making a
go
living.
on.
You're right, you're right.
Jim Fitzpatrick's making a living. Steve Wilden's working in the business.
Yeah, ours was a really good class, and we had a lot of people.
And some of us actually went to class. I was not one of them, but
Well, the theater, well, kids in theater tend to get their class all around the department. I mean, that's what you do. It's like being, I mean, that's why you're in theater. You love the experience. And it never changes from the time you get the bug. I mean, obviously it hasn't changed yet. Is that you're always on, and sometimes the stimulation of classroom work is just not enough to keep you going. But, you know, they rein you every once in a while and get you back.
Yeah, they do. But you know, the training that we got at the theater, if I could be serious for a moment, and this probably won't take long, but the training that I got, and I think I can speak for John, here, it was so valuable when I got out to California and started acting because, you know, we did Shakespeare, we did Ibsen, we did absurdist theater, we did all kinds of theater, but as an actor, you got to play the full range of characters and characters that you'll never be able to do until you're that age again.
Right.
And so I had so much experience to fall back on that when I got my break out in LA, it was easy just to go on because I had a modicum of talent to fall back on, but I also had so much training and I knew what to do. And there's so many people that come out to LA and think, oh, I'm good looking or whatever, and I can just shine.
you were good looking?
No.
That was rhetorical.
I had a round Nebraska face that didn't offend too many people. That's the only reason I worked with
Offends
them.
me.
And round pear-shaped tones. And,
Yes.
and then we were fortunate at the time we had a couple of dinner theaters going. Actually, when you got out, there was one, and there were two for a while.
That's right.
And so you had some experience here. I don't think, you know, we keep hearing about how important the arts are in a community to keep people, to grow people. I mean, you're living examples that your craft depended on it. A lot of people got something out of it by watching you. If you two could just, children, if you could just leave each other alone and keep your hands to yourselves for just a few minutes.
No problem.
It's all right. I'm going to get the ruler out next.
We just mentioned a few minutes ago that I opened the Firehouse Dinner Theater, the very first show there. Butterflies are free.
That's the one
Toy
you
boat,
did.
toy
They
boat, toy
they
boat.
booked it as
Yeah,
free.
that's right.
You did
And then
free.
I did 10 shows at the Firehouse. So I did about 1,000 performances at the Firehouse. Johnny did a couple. We did.
I actually did the brickwork in front of the firehouse and did Mr. Roberts.
That's right, we did
with-
Mr. Roberts
with Dickie.
together.
I got $50 a week for acting. I got $75 renting him the goat.
That's right.
Is this a joke?
No, there was a
this is
goat.
serious.
There's a goat
in the show, and
that
I
just-
owned the goat.
that
and
just
I held Dick
doo-dooed
Mueller
all
up
over
for
the
another
stage every
25
night.
bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you say doo-doo on access?
Doo-doo?
You've done it. It's
you say it
doo-dooed
again?
already. Okay, so I want to bring people because they, you know, although you're from here, you don't spend a lot of time in Omaha. Bring them up to speed. You left here, you went out to LA. I think the first time I really saw you sort of surface, and I know you were in other things, was the syndicated show, was it Fox Small Wonder?
Correct.
Where you had a robot daughter.
That's right. I was in. It was Fox's very first show. It was started in '84 and ran to '89, 100 and some episodes. And it was geared to 6 to 12-year-olds, and it hit that audience really well. And so the demographics were great, and so the 5-year run was really good for me.
And it
In
was
the
perfect
meantime,
for
you-
Dick because he has a mind of a 7-year-old.
I felt that right away.
No, sir.
But that gave you some notoriety and opened some doors, and then you started.
Yeah.
You were doing some play directing. I mean, you were getting your fingers in all kinds of pots.
Yeah, well,
about then.
actually, it happened in reverse. What happened is I went out initially and started doing commercials because I had the round Nebraska face that didn't offend too many people. So I did a lot of commercials. It was very lucrative. I couldn't believe I was making that much money. And then I started doing from that. I graduated into the guest starring roles, and in MASH and Three's Company and Eight Is Enough and all that. And then I graduated from that into recurring roles. And I had a recurring role on Newhart. I played Andy, the White Mountain maple syrup man. I delivered maple syrup door to door. And I was in Knots Landing. I was spent 6 months on Days of Our Lives. I'll never do a soap opera again. It's just, you got to get up too early. And then
there
did a
you
lot
see
of
the problem.
movies of the week and all that stuff as an actor. And then actually, A Small Wonder was almost the last thing that I did, and that went up until 89, 90,
In fact,
91, somewhere in there.
Didn't
And
that end your acting
yes,
career?
my acting career was ended.
You're supposed to say it capped
Well,
his acting
yes.
career.
Well, my acting career was actually tragically cut short by a serious lack of youth. And
Gee, that seems
Yeah.
to be a problem out there.
Yeah.
so then I started writing screenplays after that.
And he's done well at that.
Now, bring me up to speed. You know, I started seeing you just show up on the screen, but when you left here and went out there and they decided you had a really great bad guy kind of face.
Yeah,
Does that make you feel bad?
Well, it did, because when you're in college, you get the handsome leads, and then and in the real world, the really good-looking guy gets that, and the rest of us play the other roles. But if you're going to be on a show, the handsome guys are on every week. So if you're going to guest on their show, you be the bad guy. But no, at first I thought it was hilariously fun because I've never been in a fight in my life except on television. I've lost my temper a couple times, said some stupid things, but no, nothing recently.
Sometimes it's too easy.
Yeah, I started. My first TV show was Bronx, and then Beretta, Charlie's Angels, Rockford Files, Hill Street Blues, blah 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 blah. But they're all bad guys, and it was fun for a long time. Right now, it bores me a lot. I would
But you
like
know,
to do something else.
you look at the, well, I mean, just it comes to mind is the new Tom Hanks movie. It's been out for a while, The Green Mile.
Green Mile.
The very large black man who obviously, you go.
He's not much bigger than I am.
Really?
No.
He isn't? It's
no.
just they
He's
good
not-
camera angles.
Well, I mean, he's
He's
strong,
he's
but
got-
he's not 6'6".
What I'm saying is, I mean, he has a look that's not going to be a romantic lead, and it's not going to be this, and he's going to, he probably could get typecast in a lot of things, but there's still roles out there that are magical, and
when you're a character actor, you can work until you're dead. You just get older parts. So I'll work as long as I want to work. I'm really, really blessed.
now
And
you were, is it my imagination, or you were a pilot in Twilight Zone the movie?
I was the pilot in
And I
Twilight
was
Zone, the
so
movie.
excited, I nearly did somersaults, and I said, he's not a bad guy.
No.
I was
Actually,
quite
about,
excited.
About 50% of my work has been good guys. Like in Pursuit of Honor.
Strong character kind of
Very
guys.
strong. Very strong. I'm a very strong guy. Believe me. No, really. You want to feel? See.
He's a softie.
Hi.
All right,
Yeah.
so now we've kind of brought you up to speed, and you're making money doing this.
Yeah, that's a good thing. They do pay you well. They pay you well. So you can come here and do this for free. Come back to Nebraska, do a good play written by
You're not getting paid for this? Oops.
You should be glad to know that.
excuse me.
Oh, that means he is and you're not?
I guess we kind of didn't want to touch on that, but
It's okay.
it's
No, I'm
okay.
really
No,
secure
no,
about
no,
this
no,
stuff.
no,
It won't
no.
bother you at all.
No,
It won't
John,
hurt my performance at all tonight.
If I could
It's all
just
right.
shift gears
Couldn't hurt your performance.
slightly, I want to tell you what a nice thing I think it is that, and I mean that sincerely,
Sure you do.
not just sucking up, that you've come back and done this for the
oh, this
university.
is we did this for Bob Welk.
Bob's
Bob's the
You
head.
might explain that he's
Bob
head of the theater
Welk is the
department.
head of the drama department, or theater department if you're left-handed.
Or theater,
and
if you're from
theater,
Nebraska.
yeah. And Bob got us going on this. I mean, we wanted to come back and do something. We really couldn't figure out what.
But he kind of kept needling at you?
Well, yeah, it was give and take, and finally we decided to do this thing, which
And that's
actually
what
is-
I was trying to find out.
That's what I was trying to find out. That's right.
Inside joke, sorry.
I thought this would be fun for the students to do because it's like a Hollywood movie. In fact, it is from a movie script that I wrote that was an idea given to me by John. And so it's one house, one night. So it's a low budget, it's a low budget movie. And I thought, since the students do a lot of Shakespeare and Ibsen and Strindberg and Chekhov and stuff, why not give them a little taste of Hollywood? And we'll work with them and we'll kind of show them give them a little taste of Hollywood from our perspective, which could
Just
sour
worked.
them on the whole
Yeah,
business.
absolutely.
But,
Did you show any leadership at all, or
No.
is it just this hijinks all the time?
well, I think you'd have to ask the students that, but I think they all love me. They bought me a car.
and they don't even have cars of
And they,
their own.
yes, right.
No.
No, we're having a great time. I can't, this is like a vacation for me. I can't tell you how much fun I'm
Well,
having.
that's good.
wonderful.
What
Got a nice tan.
Thank you, doctor.
what does Hollywood mean for you? When we, you're out there, and we think of it as we're in the Midwest, and Hollywood is thin people that try not to grow old, that keep their chins up, and
See how skinny my finger
uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically it.
I mean, is it that superficial? Other than producing some really
Absolutely, yes.
good stuff once in a while?
Yeah, it is. But you see, it's the nature of the beast. I mean, if you're in the entertainment business, it's a youth-oriented business. The acting roles, except for character roles like John, I mean, there's a bell curve, and it starts about age 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 30 right here, and then you go down 31, 30, by the time you get to 40, there's no roles available, or very few roles available, especially in television. The advertisers want to reach people from 18 to 28.
It doesn't
or
make
18
any
to
sense because we're the guys that have all the money. They should be making programming for us.
Yeah,
See,
but-
I have a theory that parents shouldn't be giving all that money to kids so that they have it to spend. They should hold on to it, and then, then they would gear things
I've been
to the old
trying to
people.
tell that to my 13-year-old. It's my money. He just doesn't buy it.
Yeah. So that's basically it. So people try to keep themselves young no matter what they do. I mean, the plastic surgery, whatever. You try to keep yourself
Mine
young, so
came
you'll
out
work.
pretty good. I actually did have an opportunity. I mean, I looked like Robert Redford for a while.
Where do they
and
tuck it when you're not wearing hair currently? Where do they hide it, the tucks?
I don't know.
You don't
I think you're just going to pull it back like this and tie it in a knot over here and just sort of twist it off, I think. Isn't that the way that's the way your
just twist
doctor
it off.
did
Just pinch it off.
Yeah. A tattoo.
I just
If
got
I
that.
might just inflict one more question.
Who's Bob? Yes.
Yes, no,
What about the criticism about the violence in movies and
Kill 'em.
plays?
oh, no.
I mean, because you have played a violent person more often than not.
Violence on television definitely has had an effect on our society. Absolutely, without a doubt. And the only recourse you have as a citizen is to turn off your TV and not go to movies. That's it.
Or watch what your kid, in the case of worrying about your kids, watch.
Yeah, it's something that's happened. We've been desensitized, and we're going to continue to be desensitized, and that's it.
I disagree with that. I think that there's been violence on television since television started.
Don't disagree with me.
Oh, okay. What he said. No, and I think that.
This is public television, folks.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Try to have some sensitivity. I had nightmares about this last night.
About this?
No, about
Well,
you.
here, let me.
About you
You always
too.
have to do this. This is the only thing.
I said, I'll bet they haven't changed at all. And it's nice to know you're right once in a while. But so you don't agree with this?
No, I think there's been violence on TV since the get-go. I think it's just our society has changed, and it's not because of television.
There wasn't violence in Father Knows Best. There
No,
wasn't
but there
violence.
wasn't Gunsmoke, and there wasn't Dragnet. There wasn't.
No, there wasn't on Gunsmoke, and no, there wasn't on Dragnet.
People got shot all the time. It wasn't as graphic, but people still got shot. What's the difference? Well, that was the Untouchables. People got machine gunned. I mean, I just think our society's changed. That's my opinion. For what it's worth, and probably ain't worth much, but.
So you don't think that the media have had a part in that?
I think
this-
that, yeah,
this
I think-
changing society.
Well, I think the media, when they do story after story after story on killings and things, well, sure, then it becomes an issue. I think that if they were to treat it like another story, I don't think it would be an issue.
Yeah,
I don't think it would be
we
as big.
cover it and cover it and cover it. I think probably as badly as network television gets the rap, it's the news departments, it's Fox, it's Rupert Murdoch
Yeah.
and those guys that sell the slime, and they're in control of the business.
But
And
then-
I
but where
probably
does-
won't work for
yeah.
Fox
Speaking of
again.
being,
Well, where does censorship stop? I mean,
No,
you say,
and I never
well, if there's
said-
sex on TV, then are kids going to have more sex?
oh, I never
don't
said,
know. Well,
I never mentioned that C word. I mean, having been in the news business for years, certainly, I mean, I wouldn't be a proponent of that, but you mentioned the Rupert Murdoch, the mega corporations. I mean, this has got to be a big buzz out there, that there is more and more control in fewer media companies. And while that doesn't directly affect what part you get, it might affect what movies
Get
are
made.
purchased or made.
Yeah, I mean, I had my agent said, well, this movie, Dick, we're having a hard time selling because it's violent. It wasn't violent at all. It was a dark comedy, about two people who inadvertently, wherever they go, they leave a body behind. They don't mean to kill anybody. People just die. You know, they said, well, that's fine. Well, it's not. I mean, it's not like shooting someone.
Great
And-
parlor comedy of Britain has had that going on
Sure.
for decades.
Yeah, but it's, you know, I mean, is Agatha Christie too much? You know, 10 Little Indians, 10 people die. I mean, my God. You know,
They died?
yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh, God, yeah. I'll tell you the story later.
Okay.
Illiterate
Honey, just hold on.
Beaumont.
We'll take care of it. But the fact that there are so many big companies and there are fewer people in control, is there less of a chance of having independent productions made or lesser productions getting in the door?
They still
having
need
more of your
product.
screenplays done?
Blair Witch, I think, made a lot of people scared because they're, you know, here's $25,000 and it made more money than the big guys. So I think there's some rethinking. But
Well, and
con-
smaller companies like the Full Monty.
but the
I mean, these things
condensation
that
is
just
at
sort
the
of
top
blow up.
in the distribution. So if they own the distribution, no matter who you are, you still have to go through the big guys to get your movie out there.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dennis, do you have a mic somewhere? To follow.
Oh, see, shtick has its price. You lost your mic.
I think it's in your lap. Right.
Now,
I just keep hearing things look like tissue paper.
testing.
don't do that. John. Don't blow on it. You know, that's bad. You know, remember how Steve got mad at you for blowing
Did
on
we
the
have a
mic?
point we were making before
I
I
have no
realized
idea.
that there was this crunching going on?
Well, you know, first of all, you go to television. Let's take television for a second. Television is purely based on ratings. Purely. The profits come from ratings. Case in point, Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire? Costs $350,000 an episode to make. ER costs $11 million.
Oh, I know. It's an incredible thing.
So now you do the math. Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire is getting better ratings than ER. Ratings translate to
hey,
advertising
the Grammys
dollars.
finally beat him out last
Yeah.
week. But the point you're
So,
making is,
duh.
for good drama or good comedy, people that write it, people that act in it, should be a little worrisome, even though it's just a trendy thing.
Yeah, but you have no control over that.
Right.
You have to go with the flow of the business, no matter where the
So
business
you're going
is
to be
at.
writing game shows, creating game shows in another month or two?
God, I hope not. But you know, if you have to make a living, you know. No, I write features, strictly features. I don't dabble in television. But
But I was just
yeah, no,
talking
but
theoretically.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Features movies are different. Movies are different. You either sell it to a studio or you make it independently. Those are the two ways to do it. If you make it independently, then you have to get somebody to distribute it.
Which is the studio.
Yeah, which is the studio. So, you know, and if they like the movie, they'll pick it up and maybe distribute it. But
Well,
they've
in
got their own
fact, as
product.
an example, what's the name of this dog movie coming out? About a little dog. It's a little terrier.
Oh yeah,
With a
it's
little
My
boy.
Dog.
My
Jeff
dog
or
something, yeah.
Spot.
Well, anyway, the studio that made it was so afraid that it wasn't going to work because they'd had some failures with kids' movies, and they weren't doing a big release on it. Well, now word of mouth, like Blair Witch Project, is finally. But I mean, that's going to be a little scary.
Well, yeah, it is
these
because
days.
there are no
They're
rules. Yeah,
All
I mean,
bets are off.
Yeah, for instance, the movie with Bruce Willis,
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense, tested horribly. They test these movies. They
Yeah, oh,
test
yeah.
them and bring these audiences
Ad
and they
nauseam.
fill out questionnaires. It tested badly. So I think it was Universal released it limited. And
X number of markets at first.
X number of marks at first, and all of a sudden it caught on. Then it boom, 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 boom. So what do they know? The highest tested movie in recent history was a Paramount film called. It was a remake of The Miracle on 34th Street. The highest tested movie, and it tanked in a day.
It was not a good.
No, but it was the highest tested movie. So there are no rules.
So what does that mean for an actor? There'll always be parts.
Nothing, because I mean we don't have anything to do with that anyway. I go in and get a job or don't get a job, and if I happen to land a role in a movie that sneaks through like The Sixth Sense and makes millions and millions of dollars, then my market value goes up, and then I become a part of the formula. And they go, well, let's get Johnston. He was in that great movie, like I had something to do with it, and my money goes up. But there's always going to be X amount of work and 10 times X. Trying to get the job, and at my age, I have less competition due to attrition than you do as
People that have
as some-
stuck in it and
Yeah.
gotten good, juicy enough roles that they could support a family
Yeah.
and
you know,
a
and
little
I've
in the
supported
401k.
my family
and,
for 30 years. So
John's the most prolific actor I know. Seriously, I mean,
he's everywhere.
but steadily for 20 years, or, whatever. And you have to understand the chances of that happening, of what he's done, are like hitting the lottery. At any given...
The only other ones I know as good as him are some of those that have recurring roles as mafioso.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just a standard mafia guy,
But at any given moment, there's 93% unemployment in Screen Actors Guild. At any given moment. So there's only 7% of the entire union, that's 100,000, over 100,000 people, that aren't working. And the average salary is about $12,000 a year. And $12,000 a year?
Something like 3,000 actors make over 12,000 a year. So the difference between the bottom and the top of that is considerable.
It's huge.
Yeah. And then you take scripts, you take screenwriting. There are 30,000 scripts submitted to the studios every year by agencies. Those are the only ones that are legitimate, right? The only ones they'll read. And 30,000. Out of those, 300 are optioned or purchased. Out of those 300, 12 are made.
Oh, that's incredible.
So your odds are infinitesimal.
So, hitting the lottery.
You've got a movie coming out, so we should mention that.
Yeah,
that
well,
you
I
wrote.
have a movie coming out called Molly with Elizabeth Shue. That was actually one of those things that didn't test very well and was in a limited release, but you can rent it on video real soon. But it wasn't my fault. It was the director took it upon himself to rewrite the film. And the movie initially, the original script, I was very fortunate in that it got into a bidding war between the studios. And so the price was driven up dramatically.
But they still messed up your movie.
Well, yeah, the director, for ego reasons or whatever.
Everybody at
decided
MGM got fired
Yeah.
that had anything to do with it.
Wow.
Yeah, ha ha.
Okay, we've got a couple of minutes left. Where do you want to be in the next 10 years?
You know what? If I could come back here every year and do a show, I'd love this. This is a vacation to me. But professionally, I want to direct one of my features. I just wrote one for Will Smith called Brushback, baseball movie.
Okay, Dennis, we're going to move on.
One of the exercises, one of the reasons we're doing this project is it was a movie script to a play. We would like to stay and do the movie here in Omaha. And I would like Dick would like to be able to spend a certain amount of time here doing that.
Okay, but first we have to plug the play one more time. because-
Charlie's Wake.
Okay, and it's running starting this Friday.
Friday, Saturday, 2 performances Saturday, and then next
Wednesday.
Thursday, Friday, 2 on Saturday, and then
Through
we're
March
done.
11th, and tickets are going fast, so you better get in.
$7 at the door, or if you see us, $25.
Okay, it's a deal. Call UNO Theater. You can get all the scoop on it. I want to thank you very much.
Thanks, Carol.
Dennis
Nice to see you again.
Johnston, Dick Christie, and thank you for joining us.
Consider This with Carol Schrader is made possible with support from Bass & Associates and First Data Resources.